Alabama took the field today for their first practice of the fall. So I want to hear from you guys right now in the comment section. We've got a little bit of a bit here at the Chat Sports office. Matthew Peterson, he doesn't necessarily think football is officially back until that first snap of the first game, but I kind of think it's, once practice starts, football is officially back. So I want to hear from you guys in the comment section right now. Is football actually back now? Let me know. Type Y for yes or N for no in the comment section. The Crimson Tide took the field today for their first practice of the fall, getting ready for this 2024 season coming up here. And thank you to a lot of the beat reporters out there for Alabama. Put out a lot of video, gave us a chance, a little bit of an insider look of what's kind of going on at practice. They have finally allowed reporters back, able to see practice. Those last couple of years of the Nick Saban era, reporters weren't allowed at practice, but they are now. So we're going to do some practice observations from just practice number one here for the Crimson Tide. And I think the first thing that stuck out to me from watching the videos and just seeing all the tweets from everybody out there, that Wolf position, that outside linebacker position for Alabama this year is going to be really solid. You got Quandarrius Robinson, Keanu, Koht, Quay Russaw really leading the pack, those top three guys for that Wolf position. And I am super excited to see what's going to shake out at that position this year because in my opinion, I think there's going to be a competition there. Quandarrius Robinson has been in the program for a long time. He's played in 31 games for Alabama in his career so far, but hasn't really done, really a whole lot. Hasn't really gotten the chance because of the just influx of talent that Alabama has had at that position, whether that be Dallas Turner, Will Anderson. There's been so many guys at that position that have been really good for the Crimson Tide in the past couple of years. Quandarrius Robinson just hasn't been able to get on the field when the defense is on the field anyways. He's played a lot of games on special teams, but when it comes to the defensive side of the ball, hasn't been able to get out there, but he's a really good talent. Also at that position, Keanu Koht. I think he's really going to take a step forward this year and really, force a battle with Quandarrius Robinson. I thought Keanu Koht during the springtime and during Alabama's A-Day game just looked a whole lot faster out there. I thought he looked a whole lot more comfortable than Quandarrius Robinson. Now, I'm not saying Quandarrius Robinson isn't going to be the guy eventually, to start off the season anyways for Alabama, but I would not put it past Keanu Koht at that position anyways to really give Q-Rob a run for his money at that Wolf position. So I want to hear from you guys in the comments section right now. Who do you think is going to be the starter for Alabama game one at that Wolf position? Type QR if you think it's going to be Quandarrius Robinson, or type KK if you think it's going to be Keanu Koht. It says the pinned comment on today's video, so you know what that means by now. If that ad comes here on YouTube, it's totally fine. You can totally ignore that ad. Go down there to the pinned comment, pick a Wolf candidate for me, type QR for Quandarrius Robinson, or KK if you think it'll be Keanu Koht. I also thought that wide receiver position looked really, really good. I know Bama Online put an extensive video out there of just the wide receivers, just going through the motions, going through the lines, doing your thing. They're throwing against air. They're not going up against players or DBs or anything like that. But I really thought that the guys really, really looked good. They looked smooth. There's a lot of guys getting some really nice air on some of those balls that were a little bit high. And one person that really stuck out to me, aside from the three main names, Jeremy Bernard, Kendrick Law, Kobe Prentice, Jaron Hamilton also looked pretty smooth, pretty solid at that wide receiver position. And just from seeing a lot of the video out there that's been out there today, it really, it just excites me at this wide receiver position. You got Emmanuel Henderson that I think is going to step up and hopefully be really good this year for the Crimson Tide. Bubba Hampton also looked really good running those routes. Cole Adams, I'm really excited to see how they're going to use him this year. Caleb Odom looked really good, and you can't really talk about this wide receiver position group without talking about the young phenom, if you will, in Ryan Williams. And Kalen DeBoer was asked about Ryan Williams and what he's going to bring to the table this year for the Crimson Tide. I don't need him day one. You want every play to be amazing, explosive, but you just want him lining up right, doing the fundamental things, making the easy plays. And then because of his ability, the big ones will come. So when your route's on air, run a good route, catch the ball, accelerate out with good ball security, and you find those consistent fundamentals and you stack days and those plays we know he'll be capable of making will happen. Now, these are the main guys I think that, are coming back for Alabama in the receiving core. Just not a ton of production for the Crimson Tide at that wide receiver position. Kobe Prentice and Jeremy Bernard are going to be probably your two top guys. Prentice has looked really good in his first two seasons, putting up 651 yards on 49 receptions, 4 touchdowns. Kendrick Law, I really think, is going to take a step forward, not just in the receiving game, but also in the running game. He can line up in a variety of different ways. Like I said, I really want Emmanuel Henderson to be a guy that is able to step forward, get some solid playing time because, you know what, he's put in his dues. He's put in his time. He came in as a running back, switched over to wide receiver, and hasn't really wavered. He could have been one of those guys that hit the transfer portal and just never did. So I really appreciate Emmanuel Henderson, both as a player and just, as a person. I really appreciate him sticking it out and sticking with Alabama. And then Jeremy Bernard, we know what he was. He was wide receiver 5 for Washington last year. Still put up 547 yards. I mean, that's pretty damn good for a guy that, didn't really get the ball all that much compared to, Rome Odunze and some of these other guys that were on Washington's team last year. Jeremy Bernard coming in here for Alabama is just going to be really exciting and really exhilarating in 2024. So I want to hear from you guys in the comments section one more time. What wide receiver are you most excited about seeing this year? You got a lot of options. A lot of freshmen coming in are going to be really exciting. And then you got a lot of some of those other guys, whether it's Jaron Hamilton, Bubba Hampton also looked really, really good. Amari Jefferson, Rico Scott. There's so many guys in this wide receiver core that I think are getting overlooked. So let me know right now in the comments section, what wide receiver are you most excited about seeing this year? I want to give a shout out to our sponsors over at Game Time. I love summertime because Major League Baseball is back in full swing. And I love the Atlanta Braves and I love going and catching a Braves game every single chance I get. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer to first pitch. The killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat. They also have that lowest price guaranteed. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. And with Alabama games just now, a month away now, you can go ahead and get tickets to see the Crimson Tide in action. And Game Time doesn't just have sporting events. They also have concerts. They have comedy. They have theater and so much more. Game Time has so many features that I really enjoy from a ticketing app. They've got those last-minute tickets. They've got flash deals. They've got views from your seat. And the most important thing, they have those lowest prices guaranteed. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app today. Create an account and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Check out GameTime.co for last-minute tickets. Now, terms do apply, but again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS at CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS, for $20 off your first purchase. Download the Game Time app today. Last-minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. I think one of the biggest things that really stuck out to me for this first practice was the fact that Kadyn Proctor was working with the twos along that offensive line. And that's something that Coach Kapilovic said, a couple of weeks ago was Kadyn Proctor was going to come in and work with the twos, during the summertime, during their workouts. Thought it was really interesting to see the fact that he was still working with the twos in this first practice. We'll talk about kind of what the offensive line looked like in a second here, but Kalen DeBoer was asked about Kadyn Proctor and kind of what he looks like, physically, considering, last year he struggled at times, with his weight and just being healthy. He said, I don't have a huge understanding of what he was a year ago other than watching on film, but it feels like he's in a really good shape and lean. When you ask people who would have an understanding, Coach Ballou and so forth, I'd be nothing but positive about the progress he's made. Strength and explosion numbers, I know are up. That's a fact. That's real. And also just the way his body looks leaner. He's just so dense. He's got so much mass. He's going to be big no matter what. So love his demeanor out there. It's good to have him back. Good to have him here. And I think that, this is what the offensive line looked like today on day one. I think it's going to change a whole lot, or not really a whole lot, but I think at the end of the day, I think Kadyn Proctor is going to be your left tackle, your starting left tackle. But the fact that he left, he ends up coming back. Elijah Pritchett got all those snaps during the spring at left tackle. Wilkin Formby got all the snaps at right tackle along with Miles McVay there at the 2. The 2s also looked as followed. You had Kadyn Proctor at left tackle, Ola Salinen at left guard, Rock Montgomery at center, Gino Vandermark at right guard, and then Miles McVay working at right tackle. I think this offensive line is really going to be good for Alabama. Just depends, those final couple of spots. The interior is going to be solid, one of the best interior offensive lines in the country. It's just going to be a real question mark. Is Elijah Pritchett going to play left tackle, or is he going to be battling with Wilkin Formby at right tackle? And is Kadyn Proctor, at the end of the day, going to be the starting left tackle for the Crimson Tide this year? So I want to hear from you guys right now in the comments section. Let me know what you think. Will Kadyn Proctor end up being the left tackle for Alabama here in 2024 at the start of the season on game 1? Type Y for yes or type 1 for yes, or 0 for no. The fourth observation, I thought the defensive line looked really, really sharp. These guys look like they've been putting in a lot of work this spring, especially on the defensive line. You got some of those big dudes up there. There wasn't a whole lot of jiggly fat going on, I'll tell you that. These guys look lean, they look mean. I don't think I've seen Jaheim Otis look as lean as he has in his entire time at Alabama. I thought Tim Smith also looked really, really strong as well. Jamarian Latham, the guys at the bandit position really look scary. I am excited to see what happens at that bandit spot, if it's going to be Jamarian Latham, if it's going to be LT Overton. Keon Keeley, man, if you guys see some pictures out there, Keon Keeley looks like an absolute dog. This defensive line, I think, is going to be really good. I really hope, at the end of the day, really hope they're going to be able to stop the run this year, because last year, was a little bit iffy. But I think you at least have the talent and you have the athletes along the defensive line for it to be really solid this year. Then the last observation I think most of us made, if you saw any videos of Kane Womack today, the guy is an absolute psychopath. It's in the 90s in Tuscaloosa at 9 o'clock in the morning, and he's wearing a long pants and a hoodie, and he is just completely drenched in sweat. Tell you what, I really love that from your defensive coordinator. You kind of want that guy to be a little bit of a psychopath, so it's a little bit of a fun observation. But Kane Womack, man, just put a t-shirt on, man. South Alabama during the summertime, it's hot, bro. It's hot. Make sure you guys are subscribed right here to the Alabama Football Report. We are just a month away now from our Alabama football watch parties. Coming up on August 31st, going to be the first game for the Crimson Tide. Do not miss out of our watch parties. You put the game on the TV, mute the TV, because who really likes listening to that commentary anyways? Come in, hang out with us, have a good time in the comments section. We're going to have a good time doing our watch parties this year, so don't miss out. Make sure you guys are subscribed. That's youtube.com/@RollTideTV.